All right, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the studio. My name is Deanna. Today we're talking about life being about lessons. Honestly, it took me my entire life to learn this. When I started to embrace the fact that life is about lessons, my life opened up for me, because every failure, every loss, every mistake, those are all just things, but we're taught to fear failure. And I understand why, because when people fear failure, they remain a cog in the machine. They remain subordinate. They remain indoctrinated in the system, because the system needs to, this is me going off track, in order to continue the system, and when I say system, I mean capitalism. In order to uphold capitalism, you need people who are docile. And so that's why you're taught to fear failure, because failure, in my opinion, is the greatest teacher you'll have in life. And so you shouldn't fear failure. The most successful people in life, they failed over and over and over again, but they just didn't give up. They just kept going. And that's the thing, most people just give up when things are hard, or when things are difficult, or just before you're on the brink of a breakthrough. That's when people throw up them hands and them just walk away. When I stopped beating myself up about the mistakes I was making, I was able to learn so much. Because when you fail, because really, as cheesy and as cliche as it is, you really only fail when you give up. When you fail, you learn what worked and what didn't work, and then you can take that, which is gold, like that's literally a playbook customized and designed just for you, for whatever you're working on, that will tell you, no, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, this is how you need to adjust. You take that, go back to the drawing board, and you just brainstorm again, and you just keep adjusting, and you keep tweaking, refining, evolving. When you fail, you're never starting from scratch anymore, because now you're just building on experience. And that's what life is. Like Dr. Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. That's what life is all about. So you also have to understand, and I don't want to make this video too long, there's just so many things that I want to tell you guys, and I feel like I just need to focus. I want to go too in depth with this, because I'd have to talk about manifesting and how manifesting works, and you're free to Google all of that, but you have to understand that this experience is designed, and when I say this experience, I mean life is designed to see you win. It's to set you up for success. So God, the universe, source, the creator, spirit, whatever you believe in, even if you don't believe in anything, I'm telling you that you should. To me, they're all one. I know that not everybody will agree with that, but to me, it's all one. It's all one. But that's one of my controversial takes, I guess. But anyways, I digress. What I'm really trying to get to is the fact that the universe and God always has your back. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. I feel like a lot of people think that manifesting is just thinking about what you want, wishful thinking, and then you don't follow it up with action, or the action that you're doing isn't actually aligned with the thing that you want. Like, you say you want one thing, but you're over here doing something completely different. If you're anything like me, you probably catch yourself in a pattern where you start saying things like, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Why me? But you have to shift away from that thinking to realize that the universe is not trying to cause you any harm or suffering. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because like I said, for me to elaborate on that, I would have to talk about manifesting, and that would make this video entirely too long. So one day I'll probably, most likely, make a video on manifesting. I'm still learning about manifesting and all of the laws. There's so many laws. But for now, all you really need to know is that the universe is not set up to sabotage you. You do that to yourself. That's something I had to learn too. The next thing is that lessons only matter if you learn from them. So if you find yourself in a cycle or in a loop where you keep experiencing the same things over and over again, it's because you have not yet learned the lesson that you're supposed to. And I recently learned a lesson that, yeah, like I definitely feel like God sent it to me again to be like, are you still stupid? Turns out I still was. You know those jokes on social media that will say, you're tired of being God's strongest soldier, or you're calling God to say, please don't sign me up for the trial and tribulations package. Those are really funny, but honestly, the cycle will continue until you learn the lesson and finally break free. Instead of internalizing what's happening and feeling like a victim, you have to start, well, what I did. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm telling you what I did. I started saying, what can I take away from this? What can I learn from this? What am I being taught right now? What do I need to pay attention to? It could be a variety of things. I know that in this decade, I've learned to become more patient. I've learned to stop self-sabotaging. I've learned to enforce boundaries and stick to boundaries, and that I have very high standards, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's so many other things. Instead of the woe is me mentality, try zooming out and say, what can I learn from this? It's like Rihanna's tattoo says, never a failure, always a lesson. Learning is a lifelong journey. It's a process that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are in the journey of this experience that we call life. There's always something that you can learn, and always a way in which you can better yourself. And life will bring those to the forefront. So I strongly believe that there's always a lesson in something, no matter how significant. And even if it doesn't feel like it, sometimes you just need hindsight. So sometimes it might not be obvious in the moment, but years down the line, you might be able to look back and say, you know, I finally understand what that was all about. And sometimes it might not even make sense to you, but you just have to accept that it's necessary because it's for your greater good. Your highest form needs to learn that in order for you to move forward and advance, to become the person you want to be, to get where you want to be in life, to do the things, to have the people. Because honestly, and this is me going off on a tangent again, are we surprised? But the things that you want and the person that you want to become requires a lot of personal transformation in and of yourself, because the person that you want to become likely doesn't think the way that you think right now, likely doesn't have the things you have right now, and may not even have the people around you that you have right now. And then don't forget to celebrate the wins and the successes and your accomplishments. Even if they're mini wins, you know, if there's something that you've been able to work on or been able to confront yourself about, celebrate that, enjoy that. And then also take periods of rest as well, right? Everything has to exist in a balance. What I hope you take away from this is, don't dwell on things, don't overthink, don't overanalyze. You might have a tendency to ruminate on things like, why did I say that? Why am I never say this instead? Or what does this person think? That's the next thing that we're going to talk about next. The perception that other people have of you, the opinion other people have of you, like all of that just weighs on you. So just try to remember that life is about the journey, not the destination. And life should be enjoyed as much as possible, because all of this is not to say that you're not going to experience problems and that you should just numb your emotions. It's just to say we're all a work in progress. Embrace learning and unlearning. Give yourself permission to try, to fail, to try again, to learn again, to try differently. Just keep going. Each lesson is trying to bring you closer to who you're meant to be. I thought it would be cute if we ended on an affirmation. So I wrote them down. I want you guys to say them with me, if you can, please. And these are affirmations that I came up with, okay? I didn't even ask ChatGPT. I wrote these myself, okay? All right, here we go. I am confident in the process of my journey. May every step I take or mistake I make this week be toward my highest purpose. Every challenge I face is an opportunity to grow and improve. I am right where I need to be in this very moment. Remember, don't beat yourself up. Life is about lessons. Learn from your failures, celebrate your successes, and just keep going. If you found this video valuable, please give me a thumbs up so I know. Give me a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I'll see you next week in the studio. Bye.